Usually when someone sets up something like this, people get quiet and are like, what the fuck's going on?
No.
They don't give a fuck in Maine.
No. There's a bridal shower happening right behind us. There, I think it's a graduation maybe right directly in front of us.
At a brewery.
Yeah.
I did a baby shower at a bar once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the woman was pregnant, just drinking at the bar.
So I'm guessing it was done in friggin' Southie?
It was in Woonsocket, Rhode Island.
Ooh,
and it was a dive bar, dollar drafts.
Oh, hey, that sounds like a pretty good baby shower. I've been to worse.
What's the worst baby shower you've been to?
It's not. They're not even like this. The worst. They're so boring.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, maybe like the worst is like going to a baby shower with your current lady and seeing an ex-girlfriend, right? That's like, because like, you know, if there's a bar, you can at least escape into drinks or something like that. But at 11 o'clock in the morning at a bridal shower or baby shower in Cape Elizabeth, Maine, you know.
You can get fucked up.
Yeah,
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I guess.
Look
I'm
at
just not a Bloody Mary kind of guy.
It wasn't even 5 o'clock and there were no parking spots outside of this brewery.
No, this place is lit. This place is lit also by people that don't. None of these people look like they drink. Everyone here looks like they're gonna have a half a beer.
That is a brewery, though.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be like a drunk and go to a brewery.
No, I am, and that's why I look like this.
We stand out. Did you see what I'm wearing?
Yeah.
We stand out so much in this bar right now.
5 years of fucking $8 IPAs, bro.
But you said you don't drink that much anymore.
I'm trying. So I go in spurts, and when I don't drink, I feel so much better. I work harder. It's easier to get life done. And with that said, though, I'm not a mean guy or
an angry drunk.
Yeah. I don't have a it's more so just my health. It makes me really fat. Lately, I've been waking up with my chest pounding, so I don't know if that's a good sign. So
Jesus.
We're taking a break.
See, a lot of comedians drink. Not a lot of comedians can actually smoke.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Well, I'm professional.
Yeah, I am too, but people are literally like, hey, you smoke before you go on stage? I thought you guys were cool. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people can't handle that shit.
Well, I feel like, especially in comedy, good comedy is like good jazz, where like, sure, there's going to be a song that everyone knows, but they're going to do it hopefully in a way that's kind of spaced out, and like, too many drinks, definitely no good. Actually, too much weed, probably no good. I've run into that a few times with like edibles and shit like that.
Yeah.
But like just the right amount of weed or just the right amount of drinks before, I mean, it can set a set off. You know what I mean? It can like There are times. I mean, with that said, when I have like a really big show, I'm opening up for someone that like I really want to open up for. Usually, I do that completely sober. But like some of my favorite nights in comedy I've been kind of lit on stage.
Oh yeah. It's like you have to do open mics, and then you have to learn how to be high on stage too. Like you have to learn how to like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I most of my formative open mic years were spent high as shit. Because I spent the majority of that time selling weed to the other open mic comedians. So I had to almost lead by example. Like, look what can be done with these $25 eights. And these fucking edibles and making myself.
You said $25 eights and this old guy over there.
He's like, yeah, he said, what? This is the back in the time of Christmas tree merch.
Everyone is now looking over at us.
All right,
I want listeners to know that we are in a brewery that's packed, and we're about to do a show later.
And these people have like dogs and babies with them too.
They're giving their babies beer. There's a baby bottle full of beer.
I think there's a session IPA it's nursing on right now.
Edibles. You said you took too many. What's the highest you've ever taken?
The highest? Like the highest amount?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably like maybe 5. I'm sure there's some like specific time I did like some crazy shit. Oh, well, so one time there was this guy in town, and this is like right when there weren't any storefronts, it was just caregivers, and this guy would make like these really heavy bars, and he knew that I was like a smoker, and he used to come to the open mics, and he gave me 2 of the bars and I ate them right in front of them, and he literally said he was legitimately worried about me. I can't remember the amount, but it was like it was either like 500 milligrams a bar or 250, but it was like a good amount.
Yeah.
And I got rocked. But I've been around people that have just like absolutely dwarfed those numbers, so it's not like I don't have like anything to really hang my hat on. You know what I mean?
I took 15, and I thought you were gonna like.
Oh, you taking 1,500?
Yeah,
oh, damn, yeah.
I
honestly, at that point, I was gonna take fucking LSD or eat some mushrooms. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
100%. It did feel like a mushroom trip.
Yeah.
It felt like a mushroom trip where you were dumb. You know, like mushrooms. You take mushrooms and you
I
just
feel dumb all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you take mushrooms, you feel like you have some sort of knowledge you don't actually have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I used to, like, when I was in college, take mushrooms and like scribble shit down.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, I know the secrets to the universe. Yeah. And then you get out and you're like, you feel better about it. Like, it's always.
Anytime I do mushrooms, I always do like this fake work within, where I just like start apologizing to everybody, and then I get out of the mushroom trip and I'm like, man, fuck those people.
I just took mushrooms and saw that movie 80 for Brady.
Oh yeah,
which was a wild movie.
Wait, what movie is that?
You've never heard of that?
No.
Oh, it's about these 4 old women who are obsessed with Tom Brady, so they go to see him in the 2017 Super Bowl.
Oh, interesting.
And Tom Brady's in the movie. It's fucking like Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda and shit.
Oh, that
it's
seems
actually
like
hilarious.
Yeah.
But I was tripping so hard,
dude. So I had a joke about it, but one time I ate mushrooms when I was living above Foreplay in the Old Port. I ate a bunch of mushrooms. At the time, I was loaned a good amount of mushroom chocolates, if that makes sense. And so I had a bunch. I want to try them out. And I wanted to watch Across the Universe because like everyone's like, oh, or The Doors. Like, but my buddy was like, oh yeah, watch either of those movies. They're trippy. And I had a stack back in the day, like Bulmus Music. They would have like you get like fucking 15 DVDs for like $1 or whatever in these brown bags. And I remember having Across the Universe in there. I reached in there, popped it open, and started, and it turned out to be fucking Love Actually, because the cover is the fucking same thing. And I got deep into that fucking movie high on mushrooms, dude. I was like, I'm never gonna find love, bro.
How long into the movie did you realize it was?
Well, so the problem too is it starts with like a fucking Beatles song. Love Actually starts with like, all you need is love. I'm like, all right, yeah, I know this song, Beatles, Across the Universe. This makes sense. And then it just went into, I was like, man, this movie is, you know, kind of a chick flick. You know, I didn't expect this, but I enjoyed it. You know,
my dad lived in Lowell.
Yeah.
Mass, and so I spent a lot of time in Lowell, and he lived in like a very Dominican area, and they had this one Dominican convenience store called like Elvis's Records or something,
and
they would have
fun.
Everything, and we'd go in, and we'd all, I remember one time they would have like ripped CDs, like the new CDs you could buy for $3 on like a fucking, they just burned that shit.
I love it.
So we do that, and then one time we're like, oh well, they have movies too, let's just check out the movies. And they had, I think it was like what was it? District 9.
Ooh, hell yeah.
It was District 9.
That's
so
going
we're
to get burnt too.
District 9's in theaters right now, and they have the DVD.
Oh,
Let's
sweet.
buy it. And we buy it, and we take it home, and it's like when
Shaky
that
cam.
movie came out, like a phone recording that shit.
The guy I went to college with, my roommate in college, he was from New York City, and he would go down on, I can't remember what that street was called. He would just get a stack of whatever was in the movie theater on break, bring it back up, and we'd watch everything that was in the movie theater, just like someone was jerking off while they were. It's like they give someone with MS a camera. It's like, bro, like
you can't set up a tripod.
Yeah, or even like, dude, like a monopod. You know, those are tiny. You just like put it up on the fucking seat, dude. You know, but like someone just like, oh,
and that looks so much more.
Yeah. To be fair, though, I love and I like it when the guy's kind of talking through, where he's like, oh yeah,
I do.
Oh
like
shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Or the guy who's scared every time there's a jump scare in the movie.
Just moves off frame. You see the exit sign in the theater.
It looks like fucking Blair Witch.
Dude, I can't imagine how bad Blair Witch was when they fucking bootleg Blair Witch. It's double.
The person thinks that's the movie. They're like,
maybe it just sets up perfectly. You never know.
Yeah. I didn't realize there were cameras in movie theaters.
There's cameras at there's security cameras?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
I know.
Oh man, you're telling me. Oh no. So you're telling me the Regal Clark's Pond Cinema in Falmouth, Maine has seen some of my naughtier times?
Yeah, I'm not the AMC at Cape Cod.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the story of how I found out. And then you got to tell me a similar story of when you found something out too late.
Okay.
Because this is embarrassing, and people will look over as I tell this story. I was seeing Cats. I had one of those Regal passes that you could see as many movies as you wanted.
Yeah.
Like with, you pay $20 a month. So I'd go and see
that's a deal.
every movie.
Yeah, that's great.
So I was like, all right, I'll go see Cats. I haven't seen Cats.
Like the musical Cats?
Yeah, like the one with James Corden.
Damn. So this is like a recent story.
Yeah. This is right before COVID.
This is an adult decision.
I was way too old.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, you just found out now, motherfucker. I was in Cats, and the girl I was dating at the time FaceTimes me all sexy and shit. So we start having FaceTime sex.
At Cats.
And no one else is in the theater.
There's no one else in the theater.
No one else
just
in the
James
theater.
Corden around, dancing around.
It's just me jerking off.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
Fast forward to that night, I'm at home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, my wallet fell out of my pocket in the movie theater.
Oh, shit.
So I go back the next day to be like, hey, did you find a wallet? And they're like, let's just go check the security cameras. I literally walked out.
Oh, no.
And that's how I found out there were security cameras.
That's not good, dude.
That was a story right there, and this woman heard it all.
No, it's a good story. All right, I've got a recent movie theater story for you.
Yeah.
So, believe it or not, I'm a father. I got kids, and I've got a 5-year-old, and excuse me. I wanted to take my 5-year-old to his first movie theater experience, right? And the new Puss in Boots movie is out, right?
So good.
And so this is during Christmas break, just a couple months ago. And I take him during this noon time, and it's at Smitty's Cinema in Wyndham, right? And it's one of those places where you can get food and booze and shit like that. And the place is packed. We're there late. We walk in while the movie's kind of already started playing. We walk in, but I'm just seeing the waitresses take beer to parents and shit like that. So obviously people are drinking, and I get it. But we sit down in our seats and we're watching Puss in Boots, and there's two maybe 25, 30-year-old dudes right directly behind us, just laughing too hard at all the jokes, just just laughing. And it just they're in a children's movie. It's all children around them. These guys are older guys, and they're just laughing too hard, and it just sounds like these guys are fucked up in this movie theater with kids, and it's pissing me off. As a dad, it's just it's enraging me, right?
Yeah.
And the more they laugh, the more I'm getting pissed off, and I'm thinking, you know what? At the end of the movie, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to tell them, like a dad, what's what. This is not appropriate. So they laugh all the way through. I'm getting fucking pissed. The movie ends. The lights come up. I stand up, turn around, and realize it's two dudes with their group home guy that's hanging out with them. And I looked directly at him, and I was like, hey, did we have a good time with the movie, gentlemen?
Enjoy the movie.
Yeah, we had a good time?
That's hilarious. You had this whole speech.
Yeah, I was ready. I was like, you motherfuckers. I turned right around. I was like, uh-oh.
It was a good movie, though.
Yeah, it was a great movie. No, it was.
I illegally streamed the shit out of that movie.
I'm watching this movie with a 5-year-old, and you're just watching it high as shit.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah. Well, I can't see. I don't want to be the guy smelling like weed in a kid's movie.
All right, that makes sense.
So I'll just illegally stream all. Yeah. I also get so stoned at night that I just want something easy to watch.
I can
so I've been watching all the newest Pixar movies, all the newest kids movies. And I'm like, damn, there's some good movies out there. I'm
a big American Pickers kind of guy at the end of the night, like some sort of weird antique-y show with cars. If old rusted cars are in it, and there's a fat guy talking about it.
You are a dad.
Yeah,
Were you into that stuff before?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a Maine dad.
I've always liked the History Channel shit. Not even History Channel history, but UFO shows and Antique Man shows and car history shows and that kind of shit. Yeah, for sure.
I feel like I should care about that UFO shit that's happening, but I don't at all.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like I had a UFO phase that was pretty heavy, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, right now, like I see the TikTok videos and it's interesting, and I'll like them all because I want them to keep. I want the algorithm to remind me that UFOs are here. But I actually saw a UFO. I have a couple of experiences, but in Keene, New Hampshire, I saw my first UFO. It was just like it looked like two objects right over the hills that were like on fucking fire, and we just watched them hang out there for 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah. Just
now,
like
were you
out.
tripping?
No, I was coming out of fucking Shaw's in Keene, New Hampshire. It's crazy.
And you really believe that was a UFO?
I'm not sure what it like. So I looked it up online, and there was a video that's exactly what I saw, and someone said that they think it's a portal or some sort of wormhole or some sort of something. But it was something on fire, just hanging out. Yeah.
All right, that's how I lived in a wicked old house, and I was convinced I saw ghosts.
Oh yeah.
But the older I get, I haven't seen ghosts since then. So I'm like, is my memory? Do I like push it farther into my memory than it actually was?
You don't believe in any of that stuff? Like,
I swear I saw ghosts.
Oh, dude, I love all that shit. I love all that shit. I'm a fan. I've seen some ghosts.
Are you a conspiracy guy?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't believe many of them, but I like them. Like that's my If I'm going to a party and I don't know anyone and there's a dude that's going to start talking to me about fucking reptilians or flat earth, we're hanging out all night. Like I'm fucking going to show him that I got joints. I'm going to whatever whiskey he's got, we'll share. Like like that's better than talking about my fucking mortgage. Like holy shit.
No, I guess that is true. I think I'm a nice person, but I talk so much that at parties, I don't really want to talk to anyone. I feel like I'm like, if I'm not in a conversation I don't want to be in, I will get myself out of that conversation.
Well, my problem too is like as a comedian, you just talk about yourself. So I'm good at talking, but I'm good at talking about myself, which is not really a party trick. It's kind of like, oh, this guy seems like a douche. Like, like.
See, I have problems when I hang with people that I can't, I'll just start interviewing them.
All right.
I'll just start doing like a podcast with them. I'm like, this is it's weird.
But I think people like that. People like talking about themselves.
Oh, people love talking about themselves.
If you ever watch any of that, or read the self-help books about, being more engaging with people, it's always let people talk. They fucking love that. That's why people love dogs. Yeah. Dogs don't say a goddamn thing, and they just listen. People love that shit.
Yeah. It's funny. I was going back this past week and listening to old episodes of the podcast.
Oh yeah.
As I go on, I talk so much less.
Yeah.
On early episodes, I mean, I'm talking a lot on this episode, but on early episodes, I would just talk and the person would.
Yeah.
And now,
but you're progressively growing and also I never gonna say it. Thank you for having me on, and I couldn't be more fucking happy for your success and your continued growth and progressing as a podcast guy. So as comedians, there's so many people, in our field that are just doing the same shit. And you were really able to make your own lane, and I fucking love that. So congratulations.
Thank you. That means a lot. But I felt the same thing about you, and that's why I wanted to have you on, and I'm happy we finally got to do it.
No, dude.
No matter the circumstances, because how many people actually create something from this? As you're saying, and what you have created with your comedy and with Welcome to Maine and with everything else, you're in the 1% of the 1%.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't thought of that. Yeah.
I feel I am saying you are.
Yeah.
And it's cool because not many people have that drive. Well, that's really all it is.
I would argue, too, everything has been done on just a heap of failure. It's all been, I've tried so many things and failed so hard so many fucking times that, and I'm also, willing to learn from my mistakes or try to learn from my mistakes if I can. That right now, the little success that I feel like I'm seeing or whatever, I think is definitely directly related to how many times I failed. And just it was not about talent, it was tenacity. Just fucking doing it. Just, all right, fuck it. Let's do something else. Let's do something more.
What kept you going?
I just love comedy. Also, I don't want a real job. I have zero interest in having a fucking boss or do a training video or any of that shit. I like working for myself. And out of just happenstance and luck and knowing the right people and working hard at what I do, that finding a little niche audience that's into what I do and making a little career off that, and then also doing all the side hustles from writing and all that shit. it's just not really a drive more. I just keep doing it because it's like, and thankfully progressively it's gotten a little bit bigger here and a little bit better here, and just progressively. And I think it's about time served if you're willing to progress. Like, I know a bunch of people that have been doing comedy for 15 years and have been doing the same 10-minute set. Like, that's not time served, you know. But
yeah. Do you believe in luck?
I go back and forth. I think I'm a very lucky dude, but I think a lot of I've had too many experiences where it went bad at that time that led into something good, and I've had a bunch of good experiences led into bad shit where I think you just need to be prepared. So I don't know. I think you need to be in the right place at the right time, which would be lucky, but then to take advantage of that, you need to kind of be on your shit.
Why do you think you found success?
I was willing to take it step by step. I think there's a lot of people that when you meet them, they're going to be like, hey, I'm 2 years into comedy. I'm going to shoot my special next week. And it's like, okay, fuck yeah. I was more so like, hey, I'm an open mic comedian. I'd love to be the opener for some local comedy show someday. And then from openers, like, all right, I would love to be... I was never the dude that was like an open micer, like, I'm a headliner. I really wanted to take it step by step, because I respected comedy. I love comedy. And so I think I was just willing to kind of take it step by step. And there's a lot of people that talk. There's a lot of dreamers, which is great. But if you just apply yourself, man, you wouldn't believe what gets accomplished if you just do the work.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, too. It's like, it's not even about being smart or fucking... I don't know. It's not about being fucking... the best. It's just about showing up, if that makes sense, you know?
100%. It's about, you were talking about niche audience.
Yeah, 100%.
What I have is a super niche audience.
Dude, me too.
But that's how it works.
Yeah.
If you're really not passionate about the thing that, like hella people just start shit just to start shit.
Yeah.
But if you don't really love it, that's why I asked, like, what keeps you going? Because it's like a love for it. If you didn't love it, you wouldn't keep doing it.
Well, I don't even know it's about keeping... I think you're just... I would argue that we share this. I think we're both authentic. That's why we have an audience in the first place, is we are authentically ourselves, and we're not afraid to be ourselves. And there's a lot of people that want to make people happy in comedy, and you will... Yeah, you'll go to a brewer show and you make people happy, but if you are not like, hey, this is me... for real, there are a lot of other people that are like, hey, I'm like that too. You don't. If you're just gonna try to apply yourself to everyone, you're not gonna have usually the wherewithal to then apply to a core fan base that really gets you, and they will move you forward.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I was gonna say, it's because I can make all the content I want. It doesn't mean shit if it's not shared or liked or commented on, and it takes the people that like it to make it successful. It's just me making the shit.
Yeah, you were talking about time applied. That's why I kind of the opposite. Maybe not the opposite, but it's like there'll people who be like, I've been doing comedy 10 years. Mm-hmm. And it's like, as you said, but it's like, what have you been doing in those 10 years? You have to learn the business side of it too. It's not just like a hangout. You know,
100%.
So many people just do it just for the hangout.
Yeah,
like
they make it their social scene, which is fine. But it's really hard to make comedy a business and also your social scene, because unfortunately there's unfortunate things that have, like, sometimes you gotta cut your losses, and sometimes you gotta, and to make this an actual business, to progress a business, you have to make sometimes hard decisions, and because you're dealing with people's hopes and dreams and their own thoughts of what comedy is and isn't, you can hurt some people. So it's hard to make it your social scene and your business at the same time.
Did you always want to stay in Maine?
I think it's funny. So I toured with a comedian back in the day, and we did like cool little rock clubs. He was a dude that was part of the Ronnie Munn Block Party tour. So he was, also in like some niche comedy. But we'd go and do these clubs, and we'd do actual comedy clubs, and we'd do these rock clubs where 100 people, 150 people would show up, and so we had a good name. And we toured all over the place, and I didn't really enjoy it. Like, it wasn't like the idea of being a road. Like, I loved doing the shows, but travel just gave me a lot of anxiety, and it was really fucking lonely, and a lot of like just time doing nothing. I didn't feel super productive on the road, where like I definitely wanted to do something where I could sleep in my own bed at night. So, you know, in the last 10 years, I kind of like I've been trying to figure out, okay, how do I make a living doing this and sleep in my own bed every night, you know?
Yeah, because they say, and for me, I feel it, but they say like you never get love in your hometown type thing.
It can be hard.
But you've kind of built that up, so I'm like, oh shit, how did he do it, you know?
Well, no, it's also, I mean, with that, like, if I was doing a web series that was directed towards the open mic comedy crowd, no one would give a fuck. But you know, we do a thing where we're roasting Maine, and Mainers in general like roasting Maine too. It's kind of just traditional. Mainers like making fun of Maine, and so we've kind of capitalized on that. We do these weird little character things. We try to go after, you know, people, places, things that Mainers are already talking about. They're already roasting and shit like that. So,
where did the Welcome to Maine idea come from?
I'd been thinking about it for a year before actually making it happen, but the idea kind of came from there's a local comedian, Tim. Like, I love Down East humor. There's a whole comedy genre based right here in Maine that stems back from humor from the 50s. There's like Bert and I, Joe Parham, In the Kitchen, Marshall Dodge, you know, Tim Sample. Then there's like Bob Marley, who kind of has continued the tradition. And I love that shit. I'm a huge fan. I think the best joke in the world is Joe Parham's South Paris Fire Department. If you're into comedy and you want to hear the best joke in the world, it's that joke. And he never got his due. He started very late. I think he started comedy in the 60s. And he put out like 13 albums. And he died like 75 or something. Like, very, very short comedy career. No one really knew him, but he's a fucking legend. And so Tim Sample, to go back onto that, he had a show with like, I think CBS or ABC or something like that, where he kind of took people around Maine, and he had like the Maine, you know, the Maine voice and all that kind of shit. And I liked that, but I kind of wanted the idea of like, I used to do like shitty jobs like roofing and fucking janitor work, and like there were always like the Maine dudes. Like, I wanted like a dude that I like worked with to do the travel videos. Like, you should come to Maine, dude. Fucking get hammered with us, dude. Like, I wanted that aspect of Maine, because in any other tourist videos, I was like, hey, come to Maine. It's a great place. I just wanted that party side, that fucking rough side of Maine that really isn't part of the tourist industry at all here, but like it's part of Maine. Like, everyone knows a Mainer like that.
Yeah.
And so we did one video. I had the idea to do one video where I was like not talking. I just like said one word. And the idea with that was pretty much, you know, I write the script, and every time that James got the words right, I'd be like, yeah. And so it's a way to almost cut it. And so we put out one video, and it was the most shared. I've done sketch videos forever, but it was a very, very popular video where people I didn't know started sharing it. Does that, you know what I mean? Like, all my friends would always share my shit and be like, oh, this is great. But complete strangers were like sharing it with their friends, like, oh, this shit's great. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then a radio station, WBLM, got a hold of it, and they made an article about it. Like, oh, this is great. And I was like, all right, well, you know, if people like it. And it was also like I've always kind of been like not a dirty comedian, but, you know, I'm a fucking comedian. This shit was kind of like for all ages. I never had an outlet like that. So I was like, all right, can I make like a PG-13, you know, domestic kind of humor vehicle, if you will? And so I just started popping out scripts, and we started shooting them around Maine, and our friends were really into it, but it was just like, really, it was like strangers started showing up. And that was like the first time that has ever happened in my career, where like people I did not know were like, yo, this is dope. And it's like, oh shit, all right, cool, maybe we have something here. So we just kept working. We worked without expectation, and I still work without expectation. Like, there's been a lot of really cool shit that's fallen in our laps, but I have not. There's never been a time where like, yeah, we fucking deserve this. It's always been like, all right, that's fucking awesome. Let's keep popping it out and see where it goes.
Yeah, you're never like happy with the. You're happy with the process. You're not happy with the outcome.
Yeah. No, I hate everything I've fucking done. You know what I mean? I want to make something better.
But so does everybody, and you just doing it is the reason that it works out.
Yeah.
No one. I don't know many people are like, fuck yeah. I love that shit, you know? Because that's just never gonna... Yeah. How long ago was that?
Welcome to Maine. We started a little over 2 years ago.
All right. How long have you been doing comedy?
So I started when I was in high school. I took a comedy class when I was high school, and I was at the Comedy Connection in Portland, Maine when I was 18.
Oh, wow.
And then I did a little comedy through college, and then I partied really hard until I was like 25, 26, and then I started doing open mics again, and then I started taking it seriously when I was like 27, and I'm 37 now.
What made you stop partying and take it seriously? Because I did the same thing at like 22, 23.
Well, I mean, I still have a party streak in me, but what happened is the girl I was dating at the time, she went to rehab, and I had to sober up in my younger sister's basement. And it was one of those things where, and that's why I started doing open mics from my sister's basement because I had nothing else to do. And it was definitely like a humiliating point in my life. Be like, what the fuck am I doing, dude? I'm in my fucking younger, and her at the time, my sister's partner fucking hated me, and he hated my dog, and it was a fucking mess.
Yeah.
And so, with that said, that kind of like sobering up in her basement, and also finding comedy again, but also kind of doing comedy like the way I would fucking do drugs. Just like, I'm going off the rails. And the other thing too is when I went to that first open mic when I was in my sister's basement, I had done comedy previously, so I went to the open mic with like old jokes, and all these comics who have never seen me, never met me, were like, oh shit, like, what's up? And I almost immediately kind of got in and got some spots elsewhere, and it was because I had done it previously a few years ago.
What did you think your outcome was going to be before you were doing it?
What do you mean?
Before you started comedy back up? Like, what did you think you were going to be doing, like, right now?
So at the time I was actually doing a bunch of music. I was doing a little hip hop. I still sometimes do. I never fancy myself a rapper, but I like hip hop and making it. Like, it feels good to make it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, the newest song I've got is called "I'm Not That Fat." It's like, you know what I mean? I'm authentically still, you know, it's about not being fat, you know, or not being too fat. But yeah, I was doing a lot of music. I don't know. I kind of always figured that comedy was something I would, because I started when I was, you know, as a teenager, and it was really hard. Like, I remember just being like terrified of going up on stage. I didn't think my material was very good. Like, I thought like, oh, this is not for me. But it was something that I always thought like, oh, maybe in my 40s I'll do it again. And I don't know, just like I was doing the music thing, and then the girlfriend at the time went to fucking rehab, and I lost the apartment, and just like, what the fuck am I doing? And so I just want to try something new. And because I, you know, already had a bit of a set, it was easy to jump in. And because people were so receptive to it, it made me want to do more of it.
So you look back and it like makes sense where you are now.
Yeah, I've always been determined to do something, if that makes sense. Like, even when I was doing music, I was sending demos out to fucking record labels that could have cared less, you know. And I was always putting my nose to the grindstone. It's funny, actually, where it really started, I was in a hardcore band when I was in high school, and like I remember being in high school, they had like a fucking multimedia center where you could, you know, make, you know, photos and printouts, and you can make your own t-shirts. And I would just like make t-shirts for my band. We'd like make demos at shitty local recording studios. We'd try and sell them, and we'd put on our own shows. And so I think it started from like the DIY hardcore scene, and I've just applied that to various aspects of my life leading up to comedy. But comedy seemed like it fit me the best out of all the other things. Like, in college, I was a DJ for a while. I DJ'd.
What was your DJ name?
Well, I generally just DJ'd as like DJ Ian Stuart, but I did go under DJ Ion, IIONN for a while. You know, if you can't tell, that was a fucking shitty ecstasy mistake.
You were wearing the ones with the DMT artwork all over.
Well, no, it was a little bit before that. It was right before. No, not. I did wear a fucking pink and black hat that I crooked to the side with fucking popped up fucking you know, neon green polo shirts, you know, like a complete douche, playing fucking Neo songs. It's brutal. Girl Talk would come out. That was like around when Girl Talk, so like 2008 I was DJing. And I used to DJ like a bunch of like parties on campus. They were a ton of fun, and I DJ'd at this Reflections Lounge in Chelmsford, Mass. every Saturday night for a year. And yeah, it just wasn't, you know, I feel like I heard a really good quote when I was still doing hip hop. There was undergroundhiphop.com, right? UGHH.com. Yeah. And they had a message board, and I remember sharing some of my songs, and the feedback I got from this dude was like, it's just a quote of a man wears many masks until he finds his face. And then, so that's the quote. A man wears many masks until he finds his face. And he goes, yeah, you still haven't found your face. And I was like, oh. And he was right, though. It was like so cutting, but he was so fucking right.
Those ones that are like, they're not even me. They're not, they are, but they're more just like, damn, you really got me.
To be fair, though, I mean, he was 100% right. If you ask me now, like, are you a comedian? I'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like, I'll prove to you that I'm a fucking comedian. Like, let me show you. You know?
But
like,
you weren't a rapper.
No, I was not a rapper.
What was your rap name?
It was a rap group called Mechanical Hound. So it was me and a guy that made beats. He made great fucking beats, boom bap, but it was all party hip hop. And what it was we called it pornocore. And so it's just songs about smoking weed and like girls' tits, because that's all I knew. I was like 22 years old. That's all I fucking knew. So I'm still trying to be authentically me. And so we had like these boom bap beats about like smoking weed and shit.
That's so funny.
Yeah. We had a song that, like the Cottonmouth Kings. So we put a song, they had like this, it was called like Unsigned Hype board, and we were number 2 for a long time in like their Unsigned Hype thing. So
really?
Like, it was like if you were a juggalo, you'd probably like what we were doing.
Oh, were you a juggalo?
No, so I wasn't. Well, in high school, I dabbled with the girls that were juggalos, the juggalettes. I hung out with some of those girls because
Did they turn you into? Did you turn juggalo for pussy?
I definitely listened to like the Riddle Box while getting an HJ. But I wouldn't call myself a fan. I never painted my face up.
Okay, I didn't know if you were like.
All right, let me double down though.
I will go to Chili's with you, but you have to wear the makeup.
Yeah. On our way to Happy Wheels, we're listening to fucking. Ooh, ha ha ha! I don't fucking know. But all right, ready? But I've also performed at the Gathering of the Juggalos.
Have you?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was cool. It was worth it. I wanted to do it one time. I reached out and they were like, "Yeah, we'd love to have you." It was me, some other dude, and Jim Norton.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. Actually, so I was the opener. And
were they in the face, in the audience?
Oh yeah, dude. And it was also comedy happens at like 1:00 in the morning there. So it's after it's after the big show on the big stage when people are walking back to their campsites. They have this comedy tent where they're like, "Hey, come on in, guys. Come." The other comedian Joey Gay from New York, fucking awesome dude, really really good guy. I hung out with him all night. And he does that shit. He does a bunch of those things. But yeah, it was. I wanted to have the experience. I went alone, which was kind of scary. It's the fucking Gathering of Juggalos, and I documented. It's actually on my YouTube channel. And I had a blast. I saw a bunch of crazy shit.
1 a.m. is the worst time to do comedy.
Yeah, well, I was warned.
I'd rather do an afternoon show. Than like after midnight show. I'll do a midnight show, but like yeah, I did You know where New Portland, Maine is?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's a wild place.
Yeah, it's kind of close to like Sugarloaf.
Yeah. They have the swinging bridge that you can like literally push it.
Yeah.
And then a car will drive over it.
Yeah. Sketchy.
There's no cops in New Portland, Maine. I learned that.
There's no cops in my town. There's only sheriffs.
Really? Yeah. I hosted a hallucinogen festival in New Portland, Maine. Yeah. I brought like 10 comedians up. They didn't tell me it was a hallucinogen festival. They told me it was an arts and music festival.
Well, yeah, that's what they say up here. Yeah.
And then
also it's, on top of that's like a non-profit for a charity.
This was not. This was in a dude's backyard.
Oh fuck yeah!
All tents. We got the one Airbnb I got for the comedian, so I was like, thank God we don't have to sleep in the tents. But there were people blasting off on DMT.
Yeah, hell yeah.
While we're trying to tell jokes. Yeah. And I'm like, it's like 1 a.m. It's like, Noah, you tripping? Like, not a good time to see comedy.
I mean, I had a good time. I'm not going to lie. I would rather.
Different.
Yeah, that's the thing, because everyone was fucked up. And then the thing is,
they're just drinking Faygo.
Oh, no. They're fucking getting fucked up, dude. What's really funny, though, is like they're all conscious of like, they're all self-aware people. So it's not like you're going and they all think like they're like royalty. Like it's time to get down.
They're like, we're trash people,
bro. And they dive right in. It's insane. It's kind of fun. Just like letting yourself go, like almost like what Caligula, or you know what I'm talking about? Like just like that Greek shit of just like everything goes.
I think you need to have a little bit of I care, because that's how you turn to a furry. So
there were some furries there for sure. Yeah.
Imagine being a furry and a juggalo.
There's a bunch.
That's what capitalism
that's some people's identities.
A furry juggalo.
They're called Whoop Whoop the Fox, you know?
You ever have any like crazy fans?
Yeah.
Or like people after a show where you're like, this is fucking.
Yeah, I mean, I especially with with Welcome to Maine, we have some intense fans, but I love them all. I've never met a Welcome to Maine fan that I wasn't like, all right, we'll have some beers, it'll be cool. Definitely like some really drunk fans and like some really high fans, but generally really cool people. Yeah, I mean, but also before that, like, you know, I didn't really have fans, so I'm down for any fan. I will say one time I was at, so right now, because it's so, Welcome to Maine is so localized, you know, where I'm from, a bunch of people will come up to me. Like today, I had a guy at Goodwill come up to me and want a fucking photo.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And so I keep these stickers on me and guitar picks of like the slogan of the show, and I just like give them out to like fans and shit like that. And there was one time that I was bringing my daughter through Hannaford, and there was a guy just taking a video of me, but also like was with my daughter. So it was like a really, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care if people are weird around me. I kind of dig it. But to involve my daughter, I was just like,
that's
buddy,
not cool.
Yeah, I don't really like this man. And he, like, after talking with him, he was cool, but it was fucking,
Some people weird, just
man.
don't get the social cues. That is wild. Yeah. It's like a good and bad thing when people know who you are.
Yeah.
I had to like stop taking mushrooms in public because I would be so weird if people are just like spitting things about me to me, and I'm like just tripping.
Dude, I had to stop being an asshole to people in public. Like, I'm a very intense driver. Like, I fucking flip the fuck. If I haven't like smoked weed that day, like, I will flip the fuck out. Like, I don't know what it is. I'm just an intense driver. And man, these guys, I was coming out of Walmart, and these guys like kind of cutting. I was coming out, but they were coming in the outdoor, and like it's like adults, and there's like just in my way. And I was like a dick to them. I was like, "What the fuck, guys?" And like swerved around them. And as I was walking by, one of the guys goes, "Hey, that's the guy from Welcome to Maine." And I was like, "Oh shit." Because like I don't know who knows me now, you know.
Yeah.
And so like I got to kind of watch myself because I've always had like a shitty attitude. Not a shitty attitude. I just sometimes I'm moody. Sometimes you know, it's like sometimes it's a bad day, and I'll wear it on my sleeve, and it's not their fault, but I have to be way more mindful of it now.
Yeah, because you can.
Because I can't be like, oh yeah, I met that guy from Welcome to Maine. He was a dick, you know. Like, I don't want that.
Yeah. I was about to ask you, you meet any people that are dicks, but you don't want to put that on.
No.
You don't want to put that on.
No, I haven't met any. It's funny. I've opened up for a bunch of comedians, like just as a stand-up, and I've never really met. Well, there was one experience that I think the comedian was kind of dickish, but it could have just been their manager. And I had a weird experience with a comic, but outside of that, I've had really awesome experience with like headliners for the most part. Because I think the people that become headlining comedians are like it's coming from like again, authentic people, and usually they're fucking cool people. They might be crazy as shit, but they're usually cool,
Yeah. Some of my favorite people are like crazy people, but then I can be crazy around them.
Yeah.
And if they care and they're passionate, that's how you manifest it.
Yeah.
People are always like, don't meet your heroes, pick better heroes. Like, why are your heroes shitty people?
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why are the people that you look up to horrible people? Like,
my hero for a long time as a comedian was Dave Attell as a comedian, and I got to meet him, and he was the coolest fucking dude in the world. Doug Stanhope, another hero, met him, one of the coolest fucking dudes in the world. And I feel like they kind of knew it meant. So you know what I mean? Like they understood the assignment, if you will. You know what I mean? Like they understood that this meeting meant a lot to me. So I tried, like when people meet me wherever and they really dig what I do, I try to do this. I try to make it fucking cool. You know what I mean? Because I've experienced that myself.
Yeah, because you never know what you mean to somebody.
Yeah.
Either way, I try not to think what shit people are talking about me, and I also you shouldn't think like you could really change someone's life. And
well, I will say, I have when you hear criticism about yourself, it always hurts, but I definitely don't spend that much time thinking about, I don't really give a fuck what anyone, you know what I mean? And that's been a detriment in some situations where it's like, yeah, I probably should care a little bit more in some regards to some things, but generally, I don't really give a fuck. And I feel like that has kind of helped me progress,
Yeah, I try not, it affects me for a minute, but it never stops my forward motion.
Yeah.
I was with a friend who just got pregnant.
Yeah.
A male friend's wife just got pregnant, and someone was a comedian, and someone was saying like, man, I really hope this doesn't like stop them from doing comedy. And I was like, if it did, then they weren't really meant to do it. Like,
I didn't take comedy seriously until I had kids.
Why?
Because I didn't have to. Because I could kind of skate by. I could sell fucking weed and do comedy at night, and it was good times. And then kids are for real. Kids are for real financially, but also emotionally. You got to be there. You can't be fucking around. You can't be doing stupid shit. And I had enough opportunities in comedy where I felt like, oh, I should just do this as a business. Just treat comedy like selling weed, and that's what I've been doing, and it's been working out.
How do you create the business of comedy?
Got to double up. Double up. Just same thing as weed. You got to invest in good shit. You need to double up. You need to know your clientele. You need to shuck and jive and meet people. It's all about connections. It's all about knowing the right place, the right time, being at the right place at the right time, kind of being a cool dude, being someone you can hang with. That's all fucking selling weed. It's also comedy. It's a business of comedy. And with that said too, if you want to be professional, you got to hang out with the professionals. You can't hang out with the knuckleheads in both regards. So if you want to do this for real, there's some people really doing this, but they're moving in a different way. Why? Figure that out. Fuck with them. And the thing is too is there is some secret sauce in that, and you've got to learn from mistakes. But the people that are making it, when they realize, oh, you understand what the secret sauce might be, they're going to welcome you kind of into that fold. And that's how you progress with bigger and better opportunities and connections and people. It's just getting better at your own craft, but then also allowing other people that are at whatever level you're at to come into the fold, meet them, hang out, see what they've got to share, what can you learn, what can you give to them.
Yeah.
But again, it's
having the secret sauce though, knowing.
Yeah, having a little bit of secret sauce. When
you meet someone and they know.
Yeah.
And they know
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh, okay. And a lot of motherfuckers don't know.
Yeah. And it comes from taking your hand off the wall and jumping into the fucking darkness. There's a really good quote of like, all great opportunities lie in all great opportunities lie in the fucking ether. I don't know. Like basically like all your best opportunities are completely foreign to you right now. They're all in the darkness. The only way you're going to find the opportunities is if you jump into the fucking darkness. It might be scary, but the further you jump in, the less expectation that you have, the more willing you're going to allow yourself to dive into the whatever depths it is that you're trying to do. You will find some crazy ass shit in there, and you're going to learn some lessons for sure, but you're also going to be rewarded.
You have to gamble with life.
Fuck yeah.
You have to. Like, I hate gambling. I like
can't
gambling.
Do it, big fan.
But I love gambling with life. I love not gambling with my life.
Right.
But I mean, if I put myself in this position, what will I get from it? And the biggest bets I've ever taken have paid off the most.
Yeah, be a fucking adventurer,
Yeah, it's like the first time, it's funny, it's like the first time you get broken up with.
Yeah.
And you're like, I will never, ever feel the same again. And then one day you wake up and you're like, oh, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm just moving on with my life. Like, that's how it works.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, honestly, nothing other than like physical pain. But no like chance you take is going to hurt more than that.
Yeah.
And if you come back from that, you're going to come back from like, I'm talking about like if you have death or a disease or something like that, that's different. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what is the worst that, people say that, what's the worst that's going to happen?
No, exactly. I feel there's a lot of people that aren't willing to, I've met so many fucking talented people, like genuinely talented people that just aren't willing to take the risk. And that's the only thing holding them back. They are the only thing holding them back. They are so talented. Saying failures,
like you failed a lot, but you have to be okay with that.
I'm not naturally talented. I had to learn from my mistakes,
Yeah, the only thing I have is grind.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Literally the only thing I have. Yeah. Like, I'm a you know what I mean? 100%. Like, I'm a stoner comedian, like who talks to rappers. Like,
but it's so funny though. Even so, like, I remember talking to you at Stratwater, and this was years ago, right when you were like when this started popping off. I remember talking to you about like financial advice. There are a lot of comedians I'll like try and throw game at, that will take it as a fucking, almost as like a hit to them. Like, fuck you. Like, why would you even, like, how dare you try and, like, talk down to me about this shit or whatever. And, like, I think that's why you get the opportunities you get, is, like, you're obviously a dude that's fucking down to work. And people can, the people that are working know the people that are down to work and the people that are just looking for opportunity.
I appreciate your advice back then and now, because like I like to post a lot. Like when I get an opportunity, I like to post about it in a way that's like inspiring, that you can be like, oh shit, if Sam did it, I can definitely.
Yeah.
It's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you get mad at that, why not just get inspired? Like when you tell me those things or whatever it is, I just get inspired by it. I don't get like, he got that, so I got this. It's
and unfortunately, especially in like, you know, the comedy scene, the local comedy scene, you hear it all the fucking time. But eventually you kind of understand, you know, it's always consider the source, you know. You gotta, you know, and that's it. Unfortunately, you know, that's what it is. You just have to, are the businesses around you happy? Then that's all that fucking matters. Are you progressing? Then that's all that matters. Are you getting bigger and better guests, or, you know, getting better opportunities? You know, I mean,
or do you feel fulfilled?
Yeah.
Do you feel fulfilled?
Happy?
That's like, if you're not feeling fulfilled, you're not on the right path, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But you just gotta start to feel it, because it will come someday.
I would argue, there's a lot of people, you know, in comedy, and in music too, a lot of people like very unhappy, and it's like, man, if you just like allowed yourself to quit this, you might find the thing that you fucking love. You might find the thing that like elates you. And that's the one thing, like, especially with finding comedy, is like I did a bunch of shit that I was like, I don't really like. Getting frustrated, always being frustrated. Like I not very great at writing rhymes, not very good at making beats, not very good at DJing. I was all, like, not very good at playing guitar. I was always like frustrated with it. But then when I found comedy, I was like, oh, I fucking love this. Like this is fucking awesome. And I feel like it's because I allowed myself to quit a bunch of shit.
Yeah, it's funny. I did Detroit House of Comedy, which was the first time headlining a club in a different city. My name on the post, you know what I mean? Whatever. It holds 230 people. I sold 30 tickets. That's not many people. It was an empty room. But I was so happy. Yeah. Like, I did 59 minutes that night on stage. I had never been happier at an empty room, that I lost money on that trip. You know what I mean? But I was like, up there, I was like, oh, this is why I'm supposed to be doing this. This feeling of like, it doesn't matter that the room's empty. It doesn't matter I didn't sell the amount of tickets I wanted. I got to sell it. The show happened. I got to do an hour, and I felt fulfilled. Yeah.
Well, and the other, I think you know, whether you realize it or not, you're investing in yourself, and there's nothing to be sad about that ever. Like, if you can invest in yourself, like, that's it, like, again, like it's so important to not even allow failure or what would be perceived as failure, but fucking celebrate that shit, because it's always going to be something that propels you forward. There's a lot of people, like, if you're getting hung up on that shit, then this is not for you. It's the people that allow those things to inspire them. Any situation. In all honesty, I honestly feel like when the show's sold out and it's great financially and nothing goes wrong, I feel like I get way less out of that than I do when it's a half-filled room and I've got a couple fucking bombed-ass jokes, you know, like, you learn so much more from like the harder aspects of the business, and I think it's important to celebrate that. And there's not that many people that will do that. There's a lot of people that either will get hung up on it, or they're so afraid of it that they won't put themselves in those positions.
Yeah, I think it's very funny that during the whole podcast, this place was packed out.
I know, we've scared them off.
And then the comedy show's about to start. There's no one here.
We
did scare them off.
Welcome to comedy.
Hey, this was awesome.
Yeah.
This was amazing.
Dude, thank you so much for having me, man.
Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm excited. This was an honor, for real. You're a big inspiration, and I'm really happy to have you on.
No, again, I can't. I'm so excited that you are finding the success that you're finding, and rightfully so.
Thank you,
awesome,
man. And I hope everyone will check out, and I can't wait to see where you grow from here, because it's not like, you know.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, who knows? I've got a new script coming out, so we'll see.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool as hell.
But yeah, check out Welcome to Maine.
Check out Welcome to Maine. Where can people find you on Instagram?
No, we're not big on Instagram. We are big on.
How about you?
TikTok.
You have a Instagram.
I have an Instagram. Yeah. Oh, my Instagram. I hate Ian Stewart at I hate Ian Stewart. I'm not like a big Instagram guy for some reason, but yeah, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, welcometomaineshow.com. It is what it is.
Peace out, everyone.
Peace.
Hey,